Good evening, everyone. Today is the 17th of December. I want to welcome all of you to our Monday evening webinar. And we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about children and essential oils. I want you to be asking your question in the chat. At the very end, we're going to be answering some of those questions. The other thing that I wanted to mention is I had announced that we would just have a lavender roll-on, 2 lavender roll-ons. I always give away 2 prizes at the end of this call. But today I'm going to be giving away 4 prizes, the 2 lavender roll-ons that I promised, but I'm also going to be giving away a full baby kit, the ones that are completely sold out, and a full kids kit. So if you know anybody who can hop on the call, if you can give them a call now and say, hey, this is amazing, and you can win during the live call. You don't win afterwards. So for those of you that are listening to this taped, I'm sorry, but you're gonna miss out. But maybe I'll post something on the websites where I'm posting the video, and you can win also. So welcome everyone. We're talking about kids. Not too cold out here today. I shouldn't say that because I know for some of my friends that are living in Southeast Asia, this would be considered bitter cold. It's about 5 or 6 degrees centigrade, but really that's not too bad for us. As you know, we had days in the negatives over the last 2 weeks, so we're really happy that it's a little warmer. We don't have any snow on the ground. Christmas is exactly 1 week away. It is a Tuesday, so I'm sorry, it's a Monday. It's Christmas Eve, actually, is 1 week away, and we're getting our house ready and we're decorating, and maybe I'll take you on a little tour of the house later on if I have a chance. We may not, because we have a lot to talk about. And the other thing that I wanted to mention to you is I have a very cute little video that I want to just show you at the end, which is sort of cheerful and kind of send you on your way into the holiday season. So let's get started. So I want to share my screen with you. Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena Jordan, and I live in New Jersey, and far away probably from wherever you are, but that's probably why we get to talk every week like this. For those of you who know me and have been on this call week after week, year after year, I just wanted to say thank you, and thanks for being on, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. Many of the ideas that are in this presentation are taken from the book, Essential Oils Healthcare for Today. It is fondly called the LRP book, Loyalty Rewards Program book, because it has 90-day plans for 50 of the top health issues from A to Z. It's a beginner's guide, so if you are a beginner or you're helping beginners, this is the way for you to go. Okay, so let's get started right away. Children and essential oils. We have a lot to say. I have 2 children, but they're not this small. But I have to say, when I first got started, this is how small my children were. And I started using essential oils because actually my daughter got sick, and then my son caught whatever severe respiratory ailment that she had, and that was why we started using essential oils. And I have to say, this little girl is just a sweetie pie, and you can see she has a bottle of lavender in her hand. Okay, how do we ensure safe usage? So number 1 is, when our children are very small, we want to be the ones that are applying the essential oils to them. We don't want to give them the whole box and say, hey, go at it. Because the bottles, I have to say, are very attractive to children. They have colorful labels, they smell really nice, and kids are more likely than not going to put the essential oils on their hands and then maybe stick them in their nose, their mouth, their eyes. We don't want that to happen. We want safe usage. The other thing we want to be able to do is we want to be able to explain to them, especially if they're this age. This little girl looks like she's about 8 or 9, you want to be able to explain to them why you're putting on the essential oils. Keep your essential oils, especially your hot oils, things like oregano or your cinnamon bark or your cassia oils or any of your hot oils, away from your children. Let's all use common sense. And then the oils that we do mix up for our children, if you're going to make up a special blend for your baby or your child, make sure that it's well diluted, and then explain to them that this roll-on or this particular blend can be for them. Now, when we're talking about infants, there's no explaining, so you want to always make sure that your essential oils are out of the way. Now, having said that, we know that essential oils are digested just like food. So within 2 hours, the body has digested them completely. We don't want to test that rule, of course, but there have been cases of kids who have ingested small amounts usually. Some kids have swallowed whole bottles, which is really crazy to me. And they have been fine. But in general, we want to ensure safe use of our essential oils. Okay, are they safe? Yes, they are. So this mom is applying essential oils to her little kid's foot. And I don't know if it's a girl or boy, hard to see because it's just jeans and a white t-shirt. But essential oils have been effective and used for over thousands of years. They are natural and safe when used properly. And doTERRA testing and safety processes actually ensure for us as parents that the essential oils, number one, are going to be the same every time we open that bottle. And number two is that there's nothing added or taken away. Part of the CPTG promise, certified pure therapeutic grade, is that we will be receiving the same product each and every time we open the bottle. Now, obviously, we're working with a natural product. There may be slight variations, of course, because it is based on plant material, but we can feel rest assured that nothing was added or taken away, and that our essential oils are being tested for things like heavy metals, chemicals, pesticides that we obviously would not want to put on our children's skin. And the other thing we want to remember is other products that we may be using on our children are not being tested in this way. So when you use other products on your child, please be mindful. Was this product tested? Give it a second thought, even products that you've been using for years and years. Okay, general safety guidelines. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're just like adults. We're not putting essential oils in the nose. We're not putting them in the eyes. We're also not pouring them in the ears. This little girl also looks to be about 8 or 9. You want to make sure that you're explaining to a child of this age what they can and cannot do with essential oils. If you were to treat an earache, perhaps, you would want to put a small bit of cotton wad in the ear and put maybe a drop or two of essential oils on that cotton ball with a little bit of perhaps fractionated coconut oil because it wouldn't feel too warm. If it is a younger child, you can always put a piece of tape over the ear. Don't push the cotton wad all the way into the ear canal, of course. These are basic safety guidelines. We want to make sure that our children see us using the essential oils responsibly so that they too can begin to use essential oils responsibly. Okay, let's look at safety and dosage. So doses and dilutions. So when we're talking about an adult versus a child, we want to make sure that we're looking at reducing the amount of essential oils that we're using for children, especially when we're talking about internal or oral or dermal application, dermal meaning topical. So let's start with aromatic. So we really don't have specifications for aromatic use for adults or children, and we don't have babies on here. But when we talk about when we talk about diffusing, we always want to think about how small is the area that the diffuser will be running in. So for example, my children's bedrooms are about 3 meters by 4 meters, which is not a huge area, but also not tiny. And the ceiling is about 3 meters high, just under 3 meters high. So a generously sized room. If they were infants, what I would probably do is run the diffuser for about an hour before they went to bed, with the door closed before the baby went to bed so the baby's not in there. And then once the baby was put down in the crib, I would shut off the diffuser. When I'm talking about a child, I might have my diffuser set on a timer. And if your diffuser doesn't have a timer itself, you can always buy an inexpensive timer in a hardware store so that it runs for an hour or two, or it turns on a little bit before they go to bed, and then it shuts off, say, at midnight or so, and then maybe runs for 1 more hour in the morning. I would prefer, at least for babies and children, that the diffuser was not running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a small bedroom. You want to have moderation. And when we're talking about babies and children, especially kids that are aware of what essential oils are, we're using moderation, because kids can be very inquisitive. A little child, ages 3 or 4, can easily get out of a bed or a crib, open up a diffuser, dump water on the floor. We want to be mindful of what we're using in our children's bedrooms. Can you use the diffuser before they go to bed, and then remove the diffuser entirely? That's another great way for you to diffuse in your children's room. So like I said, we don't have specifications for aromatic, namely diffusing, but you want to use common sense and also think it through. How active is your child? My daughter was not super active, and she was also really obedient. So if I told her, stay in the bed, don't touch the diffuser, she wouldn't do it. My son, on the other hand, was a little devil, and he would run all over the house and knock things over, and he was always trying to take things apart and put them back together again, and the diffusers were no different. He was always breaking things apart and putting them back together. Now, let's talk about internal use. We're talking about internal use. We're talking about maybe drinking essential oils in water. Kids don't drink a lot of essential in water, obviously, but it's okay for a child of, say, 5 or 6 to drink a single drop of maybe a drop of lavender, or a drop of lemon, or a drop of peppermint, or a drop of Digestion. So we're talking about kids, when we're talking about adults, so I'm looking at the left-hand side of this chart, 2 to 4 drops in a single dose, if you will, are okay to ingest, with a 12 to 24 drop maximum of a single essential oil. We're talking about children. We should want to drop it down. I would say start with 1 drop in a glass of water if your child was going to drink essential oils. So let's say your child had a tummy ache. You could give them 1 drop of Digestion and a small amount of water. Here's the other thing, parents. Don't give them a huge glass of water with 1 drop of Digestion in it, because obviously you're not going to make any friends with your child if you're forcing them to gulp down this large glass of water. Their tummies are tiny. They're not going to be able to get it down. Better to give them a very tiny, almost a spoonful of water, and have them just kind of take it down real fast, and then drink water on top in case they don't like the flavor. When we're talking about internal, we're also talking about cough syrups, because I know a lot of you prepare your own throat syrups using honey or other sorts of sweet syrups. When you're adding essential oils to those, you also want to start with small amounts. So if you're making some sort of a syrup for a cough or a dry throat that your child may have for soothing purposes, start with small amounts. The ideal amount is 1 to 2 drops of a single dose, and then within a 24-hour period, 3 to 12 drops, depending on the size, age, and weight of your child. Now, when we're talking about oral, we're talking about capsules, or we're talking about dropping directly into the mouth. And the other thing we want to talk about when we talk about internal is taking peppermint or On Guard beadlets. A small child can take a peppermint beadlet. Probably not a great idea to have them crunch it in their tongue unless they like it, and some kids do. An On Guard beadlet, if they're about 5 years old, they can probably swallow down 1 beadlet. I know kids that just love these things and want to eat the whole bottle. You know your own child, and God blessed you with this child, and I want to believe that each and every mother and father is an expert on their own child. So don't panic. Start slowly, use small amounts, and I'm here to tell you you're going to be okay. So when we talk about oral, we're basically talking about capsules. Don't want you to be preparing capsules for your child. Really, they're a little bit too young. Help them to take essential oils internally in a little bit of water, but no capsules for children. I would say at least until they're about the age of 12, and then also considering the size of the child. Is your child very petite, or are they a big child? My son was always big for his age. He was always in the 90th percentile for height. And he was always a very kind of muscly child. We used to call him a little brick because he was always, or a little toro, which is like a little bull, because he was always kind of solid. By the time he was 12, he was the size of a small adult. So there was no reason why he couldn't take a capsule. He was also really good at swallowing capsules. My daughter, on the other hand, was always fairly small and petite. And so we held off on giving her capsules for quite a long time. And she was really never a kid who was great at swallowing. Even now at 19 years old, she doesn't love to swallow capsules. She's much better, of course, but that's not her preference. So know your child. When we talk about, we're talking about dermal, we're talking about applying directly to the skin. For adults, we're talking about 3 to 6 drops at a single application, and 12 to 36 drops at over a 24-hour max. We're talking about children, 1 to 2 drops, and then 23 to 12 drops. And now we're talking about these drops, folks, we're talking about pure essential oils. The smaller your child, the more you're going to have to dilute. You want to start with a 1-to-1 dilution if you're working with a child of the age of 10, I would say 8 to 10, and then move up. Start with 2-to-1, 4-to-1, even 10-to-1 is okay when you're talking about small children and babies. You can take a soup spoon and put a single drop of essential oil in there and save it in a small container. If you want to be able to, small jar, you want to be able to apply essential oils to your child on a daily basis if they are not feeling well, or even if you're using essential oils for skin. So when we talk about skin and rashes, perhaps, many children have skin issues that they're challenged by, especially smaller kids. We want to talk about diluting the oils beforehand and then applying them daily, but not using too many essential oils and increasing the ratio of emollient, that's the fatty oil, to our essential oil. Okay, let's talk about safety tips. Children should not take adult supplements. Now, we talked about this a little bit before when we were talking about some of the capsules that are available. You want to always read the label and instructions and use essential oil supplements made specifically for children. Our A to Z chewables are a children's vitamin. You wouldn't want to be giving a child an LLV, even if you were to break it up and put it in water. Not a good idea, folks. They're really just too small. We want something that's specifically geared to children. And I see many very petite little children. I was actually at a hairdresser helping her to sell some diffusers and essential oils, and her little 5-year-old daughter came in and she was so tiny, she was like a little doll. And I thought to myself, this is a girl that should really be taking very, very small amounts of essential oils. Okay. Want to always avoid sensitive areas. Now, not this little foot, because this little foot looks to be about the size of a 5-year-old, but when we're talking about babies especially, we know that babies stick their feet in their mouths all the time. And kids tend to touch their feet and then they'll touch their nose, eyes, or mouth. We want to make sure that even when we're applying essential oils on the feet, we're putting socks on so that the kids will just kind of forget about the essential oils, or maybe just put them on and send them on their way with their shoes and their socks on so that they're not touching their feet and taking off the essential oils. We want to make sure that we're not putting essential oils in or around the skin, around the eyes. You don't want to apply the essential oils directly to broken or damaged skin, and we never want to put it in the inner nose or the ears. That means pouring it in the ears, of course, around the nose or around the ears, or as I mentioned, with a small cotton wad is also completely acceptable. Sunlight sensitivity. Want to be conscious of the citrus oils and skin. If you're applying citrus oils to your child's skin for perhaps for immune boosting, you want to make sure that you're applying them in a place that the sunlight will not touch. You want to check warnings and labels. This is a little bit of Intune, and Intune does have a little bit of citrus oil on it. You could probably apply it to the back of the neck or on the spine, which would be underneath the clothing. Back of the neck if you have a girl who has long hair, but maybe for boys you want to be more mindful and not apply it to a place where the sun may shine. Right now we are so bundled up in the United States and in Canada, I know, and in many parts of Europe that really we're not getting a lot of sunlight at all. But in other parts of the world where it is still warm and will continue to be warm throughout the year, you want to be mindful of where you're applying your essential oils. Always check your warnings and labels, and you want to avoid UV rays for up to 12 hours after applying a product with sunlight sensitivity warning. So if you did want to apply something that had a citrus oil in it, apply it to the soles of the feet or apply it to a place on the skin that's not going to be seen by sunlight for 12 hours. Safety tip, obviously, when we talked about safe storage before, the 10 essential oils that we get in our family essentials or home essentials kit do include at least 2, and I'm thinking of oregano and deep blue, that really aren't wise for children to be eating or using on their own. When I look at this particular group, at least the passion that's on the far left is probably not a great one for kids to eat. Some of these essential oils actually smell yummy, and kids are very enticed by essential oil smells and thinking that they're going to taste great too. Now we know that essential oil like tangerine smells really enticing. It almost smells like candy. Sometimes an ylang ylang is used in chewing gum, or spearmint can smell like gum to a child. We want to make sure that they're not thinking, oh, yum, I'm going to drink this half a bottle of oil and it's going to taste just like chewing gum. Keep your oils out of reach of your children. Okay, so some ways you can easily use essential oils with children and get them accustomed to using and smelling essential oils, especially if you have a fussy eater or drinker. You can use them in smoothies, in treats, and also breakfast food. So I'm thinking of things like a drop of lemon oil, perhaps in a smoothie. In a treat, you might want to put a drop of spearmint oil, sort of like a chocolate spearmint smoothie would be delicious. You could use the trim shake or another shake that of your choice. In breakfast food, could be adding essential oils to pancakes or cinnamon toast or any sort of baked goods. We talked a little bit about cooking last week, and one of the things you want to do is apply the essential oils afterwards. A lemon glaze would be really great on a muffin or a scone, and also incorporating those more delicious, more natural flavors are going to help your child's health in general. The other thing that I know a lot of parents do, I never did this with my kids, are do-it-yourself crafts, jewelry, soap, and also bath salts and putting them in the bath for your child. Again, when you're putting essential oils in the bath, you want to dilute. Two of the best ways to dilute are to add the essential oils into a little bit of unscented bath soap. So I think of some of the liquid soaps. In the United States, we have the chain Whole Foods. I know in Asia and in Europe, you have different chains, different supermarket chains. Try to find something that's completely natural and that's unscented, and then you can add a drop of essential oils to that and then drop it in the bath. You can also use fractionated coconut oil to dilute, but you want to swirl it around because we all know that oil floats on top of water. We want to make sure that the oil doesn't just sit on the top. Epsom salts will also help with dilution. I usually put about I'm trying to think how many milliliters. Oh, help me here. 250 milliliters. No, that's probably too many. 50 milliliters in like a half of a handful in my hand, and then add a single drop or two of essential oils, and then run that under the tap as the water's coming in, and that will disperse nicely into your bath time, into your child's bath. doTERRA products are designed specifically for children, so you don't have to worry that they are receiving too many vitamins or minerals. One of my favorite products is the PB Assist Junior, and I have to say in our house, we don't have any little ones, but we're still taking PB Assist Junior. It is a probiotic powder. It's very easy to take. I would say any child over the age of about 3 or 4 could probably take it. You would just basically rip open the sachet and drop it gently onto your tongue. A smaller child, you might actually have to have them put it into a spoon and then lick their finger and eat it that way. Either way, you want to make sure that your child knows enough not to throw a whole bunch of powder down their throat, because then they will choke. I've even done that myself. I was doing a video about a few months ago for all of you. I think you saw them posted, and one of the first cuts that I did, I basically opened up the sachet and then very enthusiastically went bloop and tried to throw it down my throat, and then was choking and couldn't even complete the video. So gently let the powder fall on your tongue and let it dissolve, but help your child to understand the benefits of taking vitamins daily and also probiotics for general health. Little tummies can be upset by all different sorts of things. We never know what. Now during the holiday season, there's so many different ways that we go out. We do things in different ways than we usually do. We eat in restaurants, we eat in people's houses, and some of those foods can be very highly seasoned or maybe made with a lot of salt or fat. They're also foods that are usually unfamiliar to us, or they're at the very least, they're foods that we only eat perhaps once a year. You want to make sure that you're taking your probiotics. And if you're an adult, Add the PB Assist to your next loyalty rewards points order and keep it on your counter, sort of refreshing your memory. Let me take another PB Assist. Let me take a little bit more probiotic to keep my system running smoothly, especially now during the holiday season. One of my favorite ways to use essential oils with kids is the doTERRA Touch Kit. These are the original essential oils that are in the Family Essentials Kit, except for lemon. And the reason, of course, is because it does have sun sensitivity. But these oils are pre-diluted and really perfect for children. One of the reasons why roll-ons are so great for children is you can't open up the bottle and drink down a bottle. It would be impossible. You could maybe put 5 or 6 swipes on your arm, I guess, and lick it off if you were really very enthusiastic. But most kids won't do that. And I love the fact that you can put these just about anywhere in a bathroom or in a child's room and have them ready to go. They're pre-diluted. The dilutions range from about 2-to-1 to about 4 or 6-to-1 with oregano. When you need your essential oils, you just want to give them a slight shake because some essential oils do settle, and then swipe the essential oils on. As you know, the Touch Kit includes doTERRA Breathe, Deep Blue, Digest Zen, frankincense, lavender, melaleuca, On Guard, oregano, and peppermint touch. This is a really great kit to be using with children. The other one that's terrific is the Emotional Aromatherapy Touch. And these, in many ways, in my opinion, have been replaced by our new Kids Kit. So I'm not going to talk about these too much. If you remember, there is a emotional aromatherapy wheel, and you're going to help your children to kind of pick up and use these oils depending on how they're feeling. What I like about these oils is they are really a good transition. You could use these oils on a 9 or 10-year-old and then continue to use them as they get older. We talked a little bit about PB Assist Junior. What I didn't mention to you, I think, is that when you're talking about children using these sachets, you're talking about 1 sachet, 2 at the most per day, so 1 in the morning and 1 at night. When talking about using these for adults, you can take up to 4 per day. So you can feel confident that even if you were taking 4 is about a single adult dosage. So even if you went above that, you would probably still be fine. You want to make sure that you're monitoring your child's digestion. I did know a little boy who took an entire box of PB Assist Junior. He was about 5 or 6 and ate the entire box, but let's just say he learned his lesson. He had to use the toilet quite a bit that night, but he was really fine. And other than that, and I think he really obviously enjoyed the flavor of the PB Assist Junior. Okay, our chewable A to Z, I mentioned before. This is a terrific vitamin for kids. It is natural watermelon flavor. If you have your child feels that it's a little bit too chewy too crunchy, put a drop of water on the vitamin before you give it to them, and that should help them chew it up. The other thing you could do, obviously, is allow it to dissolve in a little bit of water and then have them drink the water. But I love the flavor. I like the fact that they actually changed the flavor about a year ago or so. I think it's even more yummy. And to me, I love the little smiley face. Okay, IQ Mega we have not mentioned. Now, we know that in the adult vitamin line, we have the XE Omega and the VE Omega, both essential fatty acids, terrific for the brain. Kids need omegas for their brain as well. And this is a very easy way for you to be able to add omegas to your child's diet. This omega product, because it's a liquid, can be easily used as a supplement for older people who have difficulty swallowing a lot of capsules, or perhaps take a lot of medication and you don't want to give them any more. You can add it into a smoothie. Because it does have a light orange flavor, you can actually add it into your children's morning routine as well quite easily. If they don't want to take it off a spoon, they could take it in a small amount of juice or in a smoothie without any ill effect. And I like the fact that it actually smells very fresh and clean when you open up the bottle. Many omega-3 supplements have sort of a fishy smell, and this does not at all. I do like to keep it in the refrigerator once it's been opened. And you're basically giving them think it's 10 milliliters a day, if I'm not mistaken, per child. You want to check the back of the bottle to make sure that the dose is correct for your particular child. Okay, so questions. I've seen in the chat group that you've been asking a lot of questions. I actually have two quick things for you that I want to show you. So number one is, whoops, can you repeat this? So if you are a parent or you're a friend of a parent, if you have children or you are friends of some children, maybe you're a grandmother or a grandfather, I want you to try to think, could I repeat this information? Maybe you can't show anybody this entire presentation, but could you remember parts of it that you could talk to somebody else about? I was listening recently to a presentation that said that we all know at least 5 people. Everyone on the entire planet, we all know at least 5 people. And at least 5 people that would be interested in the same things that we are. So if we're interested in natural health, we're interested in healthy nutrition for children, we probably know 5 people that are interested in the same sort of thing. Could you repeat the same sort of information to those 5 people? Begin to spread the word, folks. That's what we're all about in doTERRA, helping other people to become healthier. Okay, let's talk about our upcoming classes. So today's class was Essential Oils for Children, Monday, December 17th. We will not have a class next Monday, Christmas Eve, and we will not have a class on New Year's Eve because I know you're going to be all out partying, having a wonderful time, and I will be too. I'll be out with my family and friends. On Monday, January 7th, we'll be back here talking about monthly specials and rank advancements. Now, there is a possibility we could be talking about mastering your metabolism, but I do know that in Southeast Asia, very often we put off that discussion until after the end of Chinese New Year. So I want to hear back from you in the comments. Do you want to hear Master Your Metabolism right there first week in January, or do you want to wait until after Chinese New Year? So please type in the comments now. Let me know. It's January 7th or after Chinese New Year has ended. And then finally, January 14th, we're going to be talking about, woohoo, lifelong vitality. We haven't talked about this in a while. And I think it's important that we begin to talk about lifelong vitality after the new year, because whether we are going to be celebrating Chinese New Year or not, we want to make sure that we're keeping ourselves healthy. It's a long holiday season, folks. And if you live in cold weather, it can be a very long winter. I was talking with a friend of mine from Chicago the other day, and he was saying he's actually a nephew of mine by marriage. And he was saying it's not so much that the winters are bad, although I think they are in Chicago. He was saying it's that the winters are so long, that the snow and the cold begin in October and usually last till about April. Oh, thank you for my friend who just scribbled on my thing. Hello, that looks so beautiful. We've become accustomed to just having a very, very long winter. And I sort of feel the same way. Okay, so last but not least, whoops, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So I have 2 more things that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the kits really quickly so I don't have to go on and erase my lovely, oh, thank you. Thanks, Mom, whoever you are. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And at the end, I'm going to show you a very quick, funny video. But I just want to thank you all for being here and have a wonderful week. It should actually say have a wonderful next 2 weeks because I won't see your beautiful faces. And you know I'm going to miss you. So just so you remember, today's prizes are going to be a full baby kit. It's the diaper rash cream, the doTERRA baby lotion, and the baby hair and body soap. So super exciting. This kit is actually sold out. It was wholesale $34 US with a retail price of $46 US. So this is a kind of a fun kit, and I have an extra 1 or 2 in my office. So I'm going to be giving one away today. And the extra prize today is a full kids kit. Yes, I'm going to give away a full kids kit. I'm going to be mailing them out actually tomorrow. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to receive them before Christmas. So they'll be mailed out tomorrow. Kids kit includes all of the 6 kids blends, the kids roll-ons, that cute little pack, the carabiners, and the flashcards. And I've been showing this to people, and everybody's oohing and eyeing about it now over the holiday season. So these are our prizes. These are going to be our prizes for today. So hold on. I want to answer your questions, and then I'm going to show you a quick video. Oops. And let's stop the share. Okay, so let's go to our questions, and then we're going to give away our prizes. I'm going to stop the recording, and then let me go to our questions.